Welcome to The Explainer. I am so excited to have you joining me today because we are looking at a topic that, well, it literally fascinates millions of people around the globe. Japan is without a doubt an absolute dream destination for so many of us. I mean, from the incredible aesthetics to that world-renowned culinary scene, it's just so easy to look at the surface and want to book a one-way ticket immediately. Right? But today, we're going to pragmatically explore 5 unspoken realities straight from our source material that you might not have known about. Let's unpack the real, on-the-ground experience of relocating so you know exactly what living in Japan truly entails.
Okay, let's dive into this. Right now, you might be thinking, absolutely, my bags are already packed in my mind. But before you make a major life-altering change, we really have to look past that idealized vision. The source material we're analyzing today challenges us to uncover the hidden realities of relocation. It asks us to just pause, take a breath, and consider the day-to-day truths that almost always get left out of those glossy travel brochures. So are you truly ready? By the end of this explainer, you're going to have a much clearer understanding of what it actually takes.
Section 1. The Relocation Reality Check. Counting the practical costs. Listen, when you hit the ground in a new country, that meter starts running immediately, and the source is very clear on this. Rent tends to be high, and daily expenses tend to be high. But the real story hidden in those facts, it isn't just the massive one-time purchases that get you. It's the constant everyday financial drip. Imagine navigating your new daily routine, a small expense here, a tiny convenience fee there, a transit ticket, a quick daily necessity. The source explicitly warns that even these small things can and absolutely will continually add up to extra cost. It's a compounding effect. Over a month or a year, those little, seemingly insignificant daily expenses transform into a major financial burden if you aren't thoroughly prepared for them. Moving right along to the next hurdle, the language barrier. So, how do we actually mitigate those daily struggles? Well, practical preparation directly influences your daily life. And that brings us to the most direct, pragmatic takeaway of our entire analysis. Learning Japanese before you move can make adjusting much easier. The implication here is massive. According to the source, it seems obvious, right? But the absolute key phrase here is before you move. It's all about proactive preparation. If you wait until you arrive to start deciphering the language, actually, scratch that. If you wait at all, you're going to find every single day to be an uphill battle. Language preparation is literally the ultimate skeleton key to smoothing out your entire relocation adjustment. Next up, the social and cultural shift. Let's just slow down for a moment here. Because beyond the fast-paced financial realities and the practicalities of vocabulary, there is a much deeper layer to living in a new country. Our source notes, and this is a direct quote, "If you don't speak Japanese, it can be difficult to connect with locals and feel truly integrated." This highlights a profound reality: loneliness. It's this echoing kind of loneliness that can set in when you're surrounded by people, but completely isolated by a language barrier. Without the language, true connection becomes a monumental task. You aren't just missing out on casual conversations, you're missing out on feeling truly integrated into the society you've chosen to call home. This emotional cost is just as real, if not more so, than the financial ones we discussed earlier. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the cultural emphasis on not bothering others. On the surface, this is an incredibly positive trait. This emphasis helps maintain order, creating a polite, respectful, and smoothly functioning society. However, our source points out that this is a bit of a double-edged sword. The cost of that societal order is that some people may feel they have to limit how they express themselves. If you come from a highly expressive, loud, or, say, individualistic culture, adapting to a baseline of not bothering others can feel kind of restrictive. It's a fascinating trade-off between communal harmony and individual expression that you absolutely must be prepared to navigate. It's absolutely crucial to look at this neutrally. While some foreigners don't always feel completely welcome, the reality depends greatly on the specific location and each person's individual experience. The source doesn't make a sweeping generalization here. Instead, it highlights a highly nuanced reality. Your experience in a bustling international hub might be wildly different from a quiet rural town. Feelings of being welcome are subjective, complex, and deeply tied to exactly where you are and your own personal journey of integration.
Which brings us to your final verdict. We've covered the high costs, the profound impact of the language barrier on loneliness, the cultural emphasis on maintaining order, and the nuanced reality of feeling welcome. Now we're going to bring all of these thematic threads together.
So the crucial point is, ultimately, living in Japan depends on the intersection of four distinct factors: your work, your environment, your grasp of the language, and your personal expectations. You really can't just look at one in isolation. Does your work support your high living costs? Does your environment dictate how welcome you feel? Does your language ability combat loneliness? And finally, how do your expectations color all of the above? These are the foundational pillars that our source concludes will literally make or break your relocation experience. And that brings us to our final question today. Do your expectations match the reality? We've outlined 5 very real, very grounded challenges from the source material. Now it is completely up to you to weigh the high rent, the compounding daily expenses, the potential for loneliness, the limits on self-expression, and the very local reception against your own vision for the future. Are you ready to put in the language prep before you move? I hope this explainer has given you the structured clarity you need to answer those questions. Thank you so much for learning with me today, and keep questioning the reality behind the dream.